Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Love it. Just ahead of Ross Tucker. All of our guests today, including Ross, standing by, are brought to you by the Bayside Oceanfront Resort, located in beautiful Parksville. The Bayside is the spot to relax your mind and indulge your senses, all while taking in their panoramic ocean views. Book your island getaway today at BaysideOceanfrontResort.com. And with that, we bring in from the Ross Tucker Football Podcast and from Westwood One, Ross Tucker. Ross, thanks for doing this. How are you, sir?
Awesome. Bayside Oceanfront Resort or whatever sounds amazing.
Oh, it is. It is. Really good. Yeah. No, honestly, you can't say enough about it. Also amazing.
That's what you should do. That's what people should get their spouse for the holidays.
Hey, when
get them a couple nights getaway or a week stay at the Bayside Oceanfront Resort. Lovely.
When you come to town, we're hooking you up there. We're hooking you up.
I hope so. Thank you, Rick. You better have the hookup.
Hey, speaking of which, before we get to the NFL, I know you're excited about this. You're excited about the one day staying at the Bayside, but you're doing the Army versus Navy college game. What makes that so special?
My favorite day of the year, every year, without fail. It's hard to describe. I guess what I would say is I don't know, how Canadians feel right now about their country. But obviously, the United States, there's a lot of discord. It's not feeling like we are together as a country. It's very adversarial. And so that's sort of the one day of the year that even though Army and Navy are trying to, beat each other's brains out on the field, you kind of just take a deep breath and feel like, okay, we're going to be okay. Everybody in the building has sacrificed, volunteered in some way, whether it's actual servicemen and women or family members of servicemen and women who people don't realize they're sacrificing as well because they don't get to see, their family members for a long time. So it's just a very, very patriotic, special day that it's hard to describe unless you've actually been there. And I had heard about it for years because they usually have it in Philadelphia where I'm from. Yeah, I'm sure it's great. Yeah, I'm sure it's great. Then I went to one and I was like, oh yeah, it is that great.
Yeah, well, that atmosphere comes right through the radio broadcast or the TV broadcast. Okay, so Patriots beat the Bills 14-10. Mac Jones, two completions, 3 attempts. Is that smart coaching or cautious coaching?
Smart coaching, great coaching. I'm mad Belichick threw it all in the second half. I want him to finish 1 for 1 for 12 yards. That was incredible. Listen, they were running it very effectively. And at one point, guys, with 5 minutes left in the third quarter, the Patriots had rushed for 227 yards. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Bills could not stop them. Now, kudos to the Bills. They finally made an adjustment and started to blitz Matt Milano. He got in the backfield. They actually started to lose yardage. And so then the Patriots weren't running it as effectively in the fourth quarter. They did throw the ball a couple more times, but ultimately it didn't really impact the game all that much. But, yeah, listen, I think that they did exactly what they needed to do to win the game. Churn clock, Matt Jones, I don't think it ever played in a situation like that before. Why make him have to play and make throws in that game if it's something he's not used to? And if you don't have to have him do it. On the other side for the Bills, I cannot believe that they didn't call any design quarterback runs for Josh Allen. I mean, that was their ace in the hole. That was their competitive advantage. Run Josh Allen. He's a 6'5", 240-pound, fast. He's strong. And, yeah, he scrambled a couple times. But no designed runs for Allen I was flabbergasted.
Lions over the Vikings 29-27. Detroit's first win since they stopped wearing leather helmets. First win in a long, long time. They celebrated like they won the Super Bowl. Were you ever in that situation when you played, Ross?
You know what? My rookie year, we started out 0-5. And we won this, and we were the last winless team in the NFL. It was with Washington, 2001. We were the last winless team in the NFL, and we won in dramatic fashion. LeVar Arrington, I think in overtime, might have had a pick six, and we went bonkers. It was awesome. Look, I don't care what level you're at. I don't care what sport you're playing. We had started mini camp in March, April, May, June, July, August. We didn't get a win until October. That's a long time. 5 losses to start the year is rough. Ironically, we went on to win 5 in a row then and get back to 500. We started to play really well after that. And my 4th year in Buffalo, we started out 0-4. Now, that 5th game wasn't as dramatic, but still a really good feeling to finally get one.
Ross, go back to Buffalo, New England, the weather. Okay, 40 miles an hour, the wind, it's raining, it's pretty ugly. Can you remember a game like that weather-wise for you?
Yeah, now a couple jump out to me. I can't remember what game it was in Buffalo. I think maybe we were playing the Rams, the St. Louis Rams. But I was on the field goal extra point team. And we might have attempted like a 42-yarder or something, 40, maybe it was shorter than that. I don't know. And our kicker, he hit it, and he hit it hard. And it went up and was going and probably got to about the 10-yard line. All of a sudden, guys, it started to come back like a boomerang. It came back and landed like 2 feet in front of my feet.
Wow.
That's how close it was. It came all the way back. It just happened to hit one of those 50-mile-an-hour gusts of wind. And not only did it kill the ball, it pushed it back. That was crazy. And then maybe the worst weather I ever played in was 2004 in Buffalo, freezing rain against the Arizona Cardinals the whole game. It was like sideways freezing rain. You couldn't throw the ball. Everything was soaked. You felt like you were 20 pounds heavier with all your everything just drenched. I was playing center that game, and I could barely grip the ball, so I kept getting the ankle spray stuff and spraying it on my hand. I don't know if that's legal or not. Whatever. They're not going to get me now. It's 17 years later.
I don't know.
So I could grip the ball, right? And the ironic thing about that game, 2 things. Number 1, the only game of Larry Fitzgerald's, I think, 16 or 17-year career where he didn't catch a pass.
Wow.
The only game was that game because of the sideways freezing rain. The other funny thing, my wife, who was my fiance at the time, brought her grandmothers to the game. So in 18 years of football, my wife's grandmothers came to the single worst weather I've ever been a part of, and they said to my wife, We'll just watch the rest of them on TV.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, what do you make of all this talk of, I know Seahawks won on the weekend, but what do you make of all this talk about Russell Wilson going to the Saints?
The Saints, I hadn't heard that one. That's an interesting one. I hadn't heard the Saints. I still think he goes to the Giants. I've said this for a while. The Giants organization is desperate. They're going to finish this year with another horrendous record. Their fan base is kind of eroding / becoming indifferent. This is a proud franchise, and I think they need to do something big, and I think that something big is Russell Wilson. And I think the allure of turning the Giants around and being in New York City will be too much for Russell. I think he has big-time aspirations for post-football. I think he wants to be around the stars, around the business leaders. I think his wife, Ciara, I don't even know, whatever. It's C-I-A-R-A. Rick, how do you pronounce it?
That makes Rick. 2 of us. That makes 2 of us. I have no idea.
He has trouble with Russell Wilson, Ross.
I have trouble with Ross Tucker.
Unless she plays for the Islanders, Rick doesn't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say he wants to play for the Giants. I've said that a lot this season. I just think Russell Wilson's gonna end up with the New York Football Giants.
Wow. Hockey players, Gretzky said this, it's one thing to play in the NHL, it's another thing to play in New York. Do football players feel the same way?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's as big a deal, but certain guys that really understand the big picture, like Russell Wilson, it's a big deal to him. I think he understands the impact that bringing the Giants back to the playoffs and maybe even a championship, the impact that that could have on him for the rest of his life is more significant than what he could do in New Orleans. I think the Cleveland thing is interesting because if he went to Cleveland and won the Super Bowl there, I mean, that'd be like LeBron times 100. I mean, it would be crazy if the Browns actually won a Super Bowl, but I don't see him and his wife wanting to be in Cleveland.
Just getting into Super Bowl for Cleveland would be a big deal. Ross, Army versus Navy. Have a great time. Thanks for this.
Absolutely. See you guys.
You bet. All right. Ross Tucker from the Ross Tucker Football Podcast and Westwood One.
Good guy.
That's it?
I'm just happy he didn't rip me.
Well, he kind of did. He kind of did.
He didn't rip me. He's a good guy.
We talked about this a bit in the first segment, but next up, let's talk about Stan Smyl and maybe his rise in the Canucks organization. That's next. Donnie and Dolly, the team on Check.